Hello everybody, my name is Nick and welcome to my first YouTube video. This video is going to be a collection showcase of my Pinguicula genus, which I've just recently started collecting at the beginning of this summer. And yeah, this is my collection as it stands currently. I'm looking to get more of these Pinguiculas and I'm super into the genus. So I don't think this channel will be dedicated to Pinguiculas or even carnivorous plants, but I will be steadily, hopefully, uploading videos documenting my collection and how plants in my collection are doing. Okay, so I guess let's start with this ping right here. By the way, Pinguicula is a genus of carnivorous flowering plant, and they all are known for having extremely dewy leaves. I'm not sure if you could really see that, but there's little amounts of dew all over these Pinguicula's leaves, and what that helps them do is capture prey for food and energy, as the soils that they come from in nature are usually like nutrient and nitrogen deficient. So this is the first ping that I'm going to show you guys. This is Pinguicula Snow Queen, which I believe is a cross between Morenensis caudata and Pinguicula Guatemala. This is a variegated variety of that species though, which is completely stable, as I've had this plant for a couple months now and it's just been putting out these beautiful variegated leaves with that white chlorophyll-less section on the edges of the leaves. And this one was actually receiving a little bit too much light. As you can tell, some of the white edges have like burnt off, and the plant hasn't been growing that fast, but I've since moved them further away from my grow lights, so hopefully it does better and I can see more variegation in the future. I also heard that the Snow Queen, I have extra Snow Queens right here actually too, which are pups. I heard that Snow Queens do not carry on their variegation through leaf pulling. These two are pups, which are like rhizomous divisions from the mother plant. However, they're both not showing variegation at all, and their leaf shape honestly looks quite a bit different. You can see a lot more potentially Morenensis genetic or Morenensis in the non-variegated ones, versus with these, they have a lot more pointed leaves. I also try to increase light and other stuff for these pups to potentially bring out variegation, but sadly nothing has happened with these two, and I think these are just going to be a cool hybrid for me because they're not variegated. Okay, and right here is an unknown Pinguicula that I actually got. All of these Pinguiculas I've accumulated through purchasing on Facebook Marketplace, which is like a in-person buy-sell trade group. But yeah, this one I received on Facebook Marketplace as an unknown plant, no ID. So, but once it's grown, these are kind of leaf pullings of its siblings. I'd say all three of these are siblings because this one also started out as a leaf pulling. But this plant, as it's grown, has really gotten the purple borders and edges, and it's also pretty flat to the substrate, which makes me think it's a Lawiana or emerginata, or potentially a hybrid between those two. It's definitely a hybrid with either one of those genetics, and its babies are growing in a little bit. This one I just recently transferred from outside of my makeshift greenhouse, so that's why it's a little bit small right now. But yeah, this guy hasn't flowered yet for me either, And once it flowers, then we'll be able to like actually correctly ID it on the species, but for now it is unknown. So something kind of cool is this Pinguicula raspberry blonde. This is a very desirable species because its flowers when mature are very how do you call it? They're bicolored, so they're purple and like cream, and the leaves themselves get extremely deep coloration with amazing visible vascularity. You'll be able to see like a bunch of veining throughout each leaf, but my raspberry blonde is currently very small. It's one of my slowest growers, so it hasn't done all that much for me yet. Okay, moving on, I guess would be this, which is definitely one of my favorite Pinguicula in my collection right now. This is Pinguicula Gypsy Cola, and it's unlike all the other pings in my collection because of the longer, more tentacle-like leaves, as well as its dew production, which is, honestly, it looks to be quite a bit more than my average ping. So yeah, this one actually recently came out of succulent form. If you didn't know, Pinguicula rotate between like succulent and carnivorous phases. Right now it's in its carnivorous phase, but I took a bunch of leaf pullings from this when it was in its succulent phase, which are growing out really well right now, actually. Right here in this little greenhouse. I'm not sure if you can really see them, but like actually you can see a couple. Like right here you see the leaf pullings of the succulent Gypsy Cola are sprouting a decent amount of them. So hopefully I can acclimate them to ambient humidity, which is like my room, which would be like 60% humidity relatively quickly. But yeah, this is an amazing species, and I love the growths and how this just, it's so like alien looking. Okay, moving on from Gypsy Cola is, I guess, these two Pinguiculas right here, which are two of the same species. I actually purchased two because my first one was not doing too well at all when I originally purchased it. Sorry, the flower of this Pinguicula morenensis is in the way. I guess I'll just show this one quickly. So this is Pinguicula morenensis. You can see some of the vascularity there coming through with higher lighting. It just sent out two flower stalks and split itself into two plants. So it looks a little bit messy right now, but once these get separated and potted up individually, it'll look amazing. Okay, but anyways, going back to these two. These are Pinguicula queencthulu, which is, I believe, a California Carnivorous in-house hybrid of unknown parentage, I think. But these definitely look like they have like cyclosecta something inside of them because of the shape and the purple edges on each leaf. But yeah, these two are the exact same plant. I also got them from the same seller, so they should have the same genetics unless they're seedlings. But the one on the left is showing like a lot darker green, while the one on the right is a lot lighter. And this one's growing a little bit like half domey compared to super flat on the substrate, but I believe that might be because it's literally just sitting on a big rock right now and like wrapping itself around it. So I don't know. These are probably one of my favorite pings in my collection right now as well, just because of how cute they look. They're extremely small compared to my other pings, and they're really slow growing, but very rewarding with the color and everything with these guys. They almost look like little jellyfish, like moon jellies. Okay, moving on. Right behind that is Pinguicula johanna, which is a Agnata and Debertiana cross. I don't know when this cross was made, but it was... Johanna's become a super popular Pinguicula. You can see it almost everywhere these days. But just look at that deep, deep pink colorations. These can even get a little bit red if put under super intense lighting. Mine used to be a little bit smaller, but it grew quite big over the last month-ish. So yeah, I'm also trying to take a couple propagations from this. There's a small Johanna prop in this pot right here with the unknown ping, but I haven't had any successes with keeping the propagated babies alive from the Johanna. So hopefully I can get this one to do something for me and create more plants. Right next to that is Pinguicula lawiana x emerginata, which is a cross, one of the most popular crosses in this genus, which forms an amazing rosette of leaves that have purple borders, striking lime green coloration in the center, and they also form, like, I'm actually not sure if this is the succulent rosette. It might be, but it does look like there's some dew still on the leaves, so it forms a really compact rosette. Just an amazingly attractive plant. Let me see. As you can see, it's kind of had a large reduction in size. Right there on the top left, that browning is a old leaf from this plant, and it's just really gotten small over the past month, but it still looks healthy, so hopefully everything continues to work out well. I've also never fertilized any of my Pinguicula. I realized I didn't show the flowers for the Morenensis, so here are, if my camera will focus, here are the flowers, what they look like. Sorry, I'm just, okay. There's one and there's two. I'm not sure why the number of petals at the top is a little bit different, even though it's coming from the exact same plant. So we'll have to see. I'll also try to pollinate these in the coming days, but kind of busy for now. Okay, so right next to the Lawiana x emerginata is a collection of three pots of baby Pinguicula that I've actually grown out from almost sproutling / seedling, and they started off extremely small. Some of them still are extremely small, like these two on the most left bottom. But okay, starting with this one is Pinguicula Yucca Doe 1773 Yucca Dew. Not sure. It's an amazing ping with very, very, very cute small leaves. The dew on each leaf is extremely pronounced as well. But this plant is not really sizing up for me. It started out with like only 3 leaves. And now it has quite a few, but it's still so small, and hopefully I look at it in comparison to the rest of my collection. Hopefully it will grow in size soon so I can propagate it. Right next to Yucca Doe is P. accessoriana, which honestly has a very similar growth habit, very compact, tight, circular shaped leaves. This one right now is doing pretty well for me. It's had a recent increase in size, but nothing too major or noticeable. It's still a small plant. One of my favorites though, it has the same color as like a I don't know the species, but there's like a semi-translucent green tree frog which shares this exact same shade of green, and that just looks amazing in my opinion. Above that is Pinguicula rotundifolia ex gracilis, next to Pinguicula elsire victoria. I'm actually pretty sure that I misspelled it on the label right there, but yeah, rotundifolia ex gracilis is still growing out. You can't really see any of its mature defining characteristics yet, sadly. And Ellersiae Victoria, you can see the kind of adult mature characteristics, which is that super red, like maroon coloration, and the upturned leaves. Behind those two, I actually have a little leaf pulling that fell off of the original sprout of this plant, which is Pinguicula sunshine. And sunshine, I believe, is a Ellersiae ex mesophytica cross. I'm not entirely sure though. But Pinguicula sunshine looked just like this rotundifolia gracilis up until, I'd say, a couple days ago. Now the leaves are looking a little bit rounder, and this tiny baby hasn't done anything at all since it sprouted. But yeah, I'm really excited for the sunshine. Actually, that is going to be one of the most translucent and visually vascular pings in my collection. It will be, so I'm looking forward to that. Next to that is Pinguicula pilosa, which is, I don't know, oblong kind of leaves. It was really awkward shaped for the first couple of months that I've had it, but now it's kind of balancing out. Not much to say for pilosa. It's a nice plant. Next to all of my growing out pings, which are kind of like potted together, is Pinguicula cyclosecta. This one in my collection is a ping that's unsure if it wants to wake up or not, because it goes into its dormancy. It looks like it's trying to go into dormancy, but at the same time trying to stay carnivorous. Hasn't increased or decreased in size. Actually, it's done the exact same thing. Doesn't have too many leaves either, and it's not too purple, so I'll see if I can change how I'm caring for it a little bit and see if something good comes out of that. But yeah, we'll see about cyclosecta. Next to cyclosecta, I have Pinguicula pirouette, which is a cross, I think, but I'm not entirely sure what it's crossed by actually. And this used to be one of my favorite pings in my collection when I didn't have this many. It started off quite a bit smaller. I think you can see like the previous leaves. It's really grown in size over the past week or 2 weeks. And one defining characteristic of pirouette is it gets this super like candy baby pink color under bright light, which mine did have as well, but it looks like it's kind of adjusting, changing to its environment, because I moved all my pings to this shelf and they weren't on this shelf previously. So hopefully pirouette does something for me. I'm also trying to take leaf pullings from the pirouette, but all of those have not been successful thus far. So I will keep retrying, and hopefully that makes some babies for me. So it looks like lastly is this giant ping, which is I think the biggest singular ping in my collection currently. This is Pinguicula sethos, which is a cross between Ellersiae and Morenensis. So a lot of Morenensis crosses in my collection, honestly. But Pinguicula sethos does not have as much upturn in the edges of each leaf like pirouette does, at least supposedly, in its ideal form. But right now mine is looking pretty aesthetic, decently sized. It's catching a lot of fungus gnats, as you guys can see. Oh yeah, one of the best things about keeping pings is just their ability to catch like annoying pests like fungus gnats. This Pinguicula actually caught a spider, the snow queen pup. If I can show you guys. Like that is a crazy, it's been a couple weeks. That's a crazy looking house spider. I've never seen that variety, at least in my house before. But yeah, Pinguicula setos. Honestly, not much to say about this one. I am gonna replant basically all my pings soon because I'm kind of tired of these see-through planters. You can't really see Pinguicula roots anyways just because they're so small and they're only for anchoring the plant into the substrate really. So yeah, I'm gonna change all these pots hopefully in the near future to like 2.5-inch black pots. So hopefully everything is gonna be super lined up and flush and all of these guys are gonna be potted up individually. So this video is now 21 minutes long and I was just yapping the entire time. I'm surprised if there's anybody still watching, or I would be surprised. So I guess this wraps it up for my Pinguicula collection. If you guys have any questions, please do leave a comment. I'd love to share my enthusiasm for these plants with like-minded people. And I'm probably going to make more videos in the future detailing my care and other processes that I might, such as like fertilization, that I might do with these Pinguiculas, because I have not fertilized any of these yet, and I heard that using bloodworms or some organic fertilizer with insect material really bumps up the growth of these guys. So I'm gonna try that out and probably make a video out of that as well. So thank you all so much for watching my humble small collection of Pinguiculas, and hopefully I will be posting more videos in the future to document the future state of my collection and everything else like that. So thank you all again for watching and have a great rest of your day. Sorry, I'm just looking at my pings. Have a great rest of your day and hopefully you enjoyed. Thank you so much.